In a small town tucked among the evergreens of the Pacific Northwest, where the wind carried whispers of community and folks knew each other's lives like the creases in their own hands, lived Daniel Harper, a widower with a heart weighed down by loss. Daniel was a quiet man, his hands scarred from years at the local sawmill, his eyes holding the sorrow of losing his wife, Emily, 3 years ago to illness. Emily's absence left him to raise their daughter, Lily, alone. At 12, Lily was a burst of light, with her mother's chestnut curls and a smile that could chase away the gloomiest drizzle. Daniel's days revolved around Lily. Mornings began with him packing her lunch, peanut butter and jelly, crusts cut off just so, and evenings ended with her stories of school, her dreams of being an artist, and her endless questions about the stars, the sea, the world. But money was tight. The sawmill paid enough for rent and groceries, but left no room for extras. Daniel didn't mind his patched jeans or instant coffee, but it cut deep when Lily's gaze lingered on things they couldn't afford, like the shimmering blue dress in a shop window they'd passed on their walk home from school. The dress was perfect for the upcoming spring talent show, where Lily planned to showcase her paintings. For weeks, she described how its fabric caught the light, like the ocean waves in her artwork. "It's like wearing a piece of the sky, Dad," she said, her voice full of wonder. Daniel nodded, his throat tight, knowing the $200 price tag was a distant dream. Yet he couldn't shake the image of her in it, standing tall on stage, her paintings vibrant under the auditorium lights, her confidence blooming. One evening, after Lily had gone to bed, Daniel sat at the kitchen table, his fingers tracing a small velvet box. Inside was Emily's wedding ring, a simple gold band with a single diamond, modest but radiant, just like her. He hadn't opened it since her funeral, the memories too raw, Emily's laugh, the way she'd hum while cooking, their late-night talks about the future they'd planned with Lily. But now, as he held it, he thought of his daughter, of her dreams, her courage, her need for something beautiful in a world that had taken so much. The next day, Daniel drove to a pawn shop in a nearby town, his heart pounding as he handed the ring to the clerk. The man peered through a loop, muttering about clarity, then offered $250. It was less than the ring's true value, but more than enough for the dress. Daniel paused, his fingers lingering on the box, memories of Emily flooding back, her smile, her warmth, the vow he'd made to always protect their girl. He swallowed hard and nodded. The clerk counted out the bills, and Daniel left, his hand empty, his heart heavier. At a local shop, he bought the dress, watching as the shopkeeper wrapped it in tissue paper, unaware of the sacrifice behind it. That night, he gave it to Lily, her eyes widening as she tore open the package. "Dad, how did you?" she started, but he just shrugged, saying, "Picked up some extra shifts." She threw her arms around him, and for a moment, the ache in his chest faded. The talent show was a week later, and Lily was a vision in the dress, her paintings, a series of vivid landscapes, drawing gasps from the crowd. She stood tall, her voice steady as she explained her art, and Daniel, sitting in the back row, felt tears prick his eyes. She looked so much like Emily, but she was her own person, fierce and full of life. When she won first place, the audience roared, and Daniel clapped until his hands stung, pride drowning out his grief. But secrets don't stay buried in small towns. A few weeks later, Lily overheard a conversation at school. A classmate's mother, who worked at the pawn shop, mentioned a man selling a wedding ring, describing Daniel's worn jacket and quiet demeanor. Lily connected the dots. She knew her mother's ring, had seen it in that velvet box on her dad's dresser. She went home that day, her face pale, and confronted him. "Dad," she said, her voice trembling, "did you sell Mom's ring to buy my dress?" Daniel froze, his hands pausing over the dishes he was washing. He wanted to lie, to protect her from the truth, but Lily's eyes, Emily's eyes, demanded honesty. He nodded, unable to speak. Lily's face crumpled. "Why didn't you tell me? That was Mom's. It was all we had left of her." "I wanted you to have something special," he said, his voice rough. "You deserve it, Lily. Your mom would have wanted you to shine." She ran to her room, slamming the door, and Daniel stood there, the weight of his choice crushing him. He'd thought he was doing right by her, but now he wondered if he'd taken something irreplaceable from her instead. For days, Lily was quiet, her usual chatter replaced by a heavy silence. Daniel tried to talk to her, but she'd only nod or shrug, her eyes distant. He feared he'd broken something between them, something he couldn't mend. But Lily was her mother's daughter, with a heart as big as the northwest sky, and she was thinking, planning, feeling her way through the hurt. One Saturday morning, she asked Daniel to drive her to the pawn shop. Confused but hopeful, he agreed. Inside, Lily marched to the counter, clutching an envelope. She'd been saving her allowance, selling her smaller paintings at a local market, and taking on odd jobs, raking leaves, walking dogs for neighbors. It wasn't much, but it was enough for a down payment on the ring. She'd worked out a deal with the shop owner, a kind woman named Ruth who saw the fire in Lily's eyes and agreed to hold the ring until she could pay the rest. "Dad," Lily said, turning to him, "I'm getting Mom's ring back. Not because I don't love the dress, I do, but because I know what it meant to you. To both of us." Daniel's throat closed up. He tried to protest, saying the ring didn't matter, that her happiness was enough, but Lily shook her head. "It's not just about the ring. It's about what you did for me. I want to do this for you." Ruth, the shop owner, watched, her own eyes misty. She lowered the price, saying it was a quiet month, but her tone hinted at kindness. Lily handed over her savings, and Ruth promised to keep the ring safe until the rest was paid. As they left, Lily slipped her hand into Daniel's, something she hadn't done in days, and he felt the world tilt back toward hope. Word of Lily's plan spread through the town like wildfire. The community, touched by her resolve, rallied around her. A local diner hosted an art show for her paintings, with every sale going toward the ring. Neighbors dropped off spare change, kids bought her sketches with their pocket money, and the sawmill workers chipped in, saying it was for one of their own. By month's end, Lily had enough. She and Daniel returned to the pawn shop, and when Ruth handed over the ring, Lily placed it in her father's hand, closing his fingers around it. "This is for Mom," she said. "And for us." Daniel pulled her into a hug, tears streaming down his face, unashamed. The ring was back, but more than that, he saw Emily in Lily's kindness, her strength, her logic in balancing love with sacrifice. The town watched, some wiping their own eyes, as father and daughter walked home, the ring safe in Daniel's pocket, the dress still hanging in Lily's closet, a reminder of love given and returned. In the years that followed, Lily's art took her far, her paintings gracing galleries across the country. But she never forgot that spring, when her father gave up a piece of his heart for her, and she, in turn, gave it back. The ring stayed with Daniel, a symbol not just of Emily, but of the family they'd built. Through loss, through love, through acts of kindness that rippled outward, touching everyone who heard their story. And in their town, they still talk about the girl in the blue dress and the father who loved her enough to let go, only to find that love always finds a way back.